Hey everyone, Pyramid Intel. I have no idea where this Pyramid Intel is going to go, but it's really out there. And I started with this last night, and it's continued today. And I'm not even sure what I'm talking about, but that's the best Pyramid Intel, because with the times that we're moving into, if you try too much to break everything down and understand everything really clearly, then you will be limiting yourself, because we are in a time of new energetics, new ideas, new everything. And if you do not free flow with that information and ideas, then you will be pinching off the free flow of information and change and ascension, which is what this is all about. It's about geometry. So here we go. So the idea is geometry, specifically circles versus the other, like platonic solids that have angles and corners. You know how people say things like, think outside the box, and everybody wants to put you within a box and everything, and all these things that have to do with angles and corners. And then I was thinking about how energy moves. Energy moves in spirals and circles always. If you think about water, when water moves, it's always spiraling. Galaxies are spiraling. Everything is spiraling. So when you have a free flow of energy, it's always in a spiral, in a circle. And while circles do exist within and without all the other platonic solids, with corners and everything, they're not exactly functioning within the same space. So it seems to me that the angles and corners and boxes are what ground energy and stop it and slow it down enough to ground it into a physical reality, right? So if you think about working within a box or being within a box, then that would slow your energy down, right? It keeps you contained. So there might be some truth to this now. This is where the scientists always come forward and start talking to me, because I don't know what I'm talking about, and then they come forward and they go, yeah, it's like this. And that would be really interesting if someone does come forward and talk about this with me. So everything has its function, and that's really great. But this whole ascension process is about thinking outside the box and letting go of all your corners and all your rigid ways of thinking and being and existing within the energetics, right? Stepping outside the box and free flowing without corners, without restriction, into more of a circular flow form. Now, you could just fly around ungrounded without bringing anything into your physical reality. So I'm not saying that corners and angles grounding your free-flowing form is not legitimate and desirable, because actually we have to learn how to exist within all of those shapes, in order to ascend and keep moving and growing and bringing in more energy, but then being able to free flow between the different shapes to bring it down and ground it into this physical reality. And then there was this other idea about how we are moving through the universe planetarily. We're moving through, and as we do this whole loop around the sun, people already know that as you go through these different cycles, you enter different energetic spaces, which means they have a different resonance. So that's why our frequency is going up, and sometimes it's going down. It has nothing to do with things that are actually happening here. It's much bigger than that. It's galactic. So we're moving into this higher frequency band, these plasma clouds, and the frequency is going up. And that's because everything has a resonance and everything's related. It's going to cause physical reality to change and shift. There's no other way that it can be. So that's why you have like these cataclysms and all these things, and the sun's doing this and the planet's doing that, because it's all related and you can't stop it. It has to happen. Everything's going to change and shift and morph, and it's going to change physical reality, and it has to, because it has to I'm really going out there today, rearrange the molecular structure. It needs to break it all down so that it can be rebuilt in another way. So what's my point? God only knows. My point is something like, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So just try not to grasp onto anything too tightly, because there's nothing you can do about it anyway. Just understand what's happening. Try not to attach yourself, because you're not going to survive it. You're going to get pulled and torn in every single direction. If you can surrender into the energetics and know what's going on and why it's going on and how it's inevitable, and just ground yourself and relax and try to free flow as much as you can, it's going to be a lot more enjoyable, and you will reap benefits from it. And right now, today, the reason probably why this is all started with me right now is that I am feeling all of these things, and I don't know if I'm expressing it well, if it's going to make any sense to anyone. But right now, everything is spinning out for me so quickly, so I'm going to go ground, and I'm going to take my shoes off and just try to restore some of this balance in physical reality, because right now there's so much spinning out and it feels really uncomfortable. And I know I'm not the only one that experiences this. I may be the only one, or one of the few people who think about it in exactly this way, because we all process things differently, but I know it's happening to everyone. That's why I make these videos. So if you feel like you're spinning out, if you feel like your nervous system is screaming, if you feel like you can't ground yourself, if you feel like your thought processes are no longer linear, or what you perceive to be linear, what you need to do is take your shoes off. Go to the beach, get in water, ground yourself, go back to square one. That's what I recommend. And that was a really long-winded way to say that, but yeah, okay. Have a great day. Bye.